You're good. Hi, everyone. Welcome. I'm Rashida Ben-Sharif. I manage the customer success here at Vendasta. I'm delighted that you're all here for today's session with Spencer Krieger. Pipeline stalls when your reps are stretched, leads go cold, follow-ups get missed. You don't necessarily have a lead quality problem, you have a capacity problem. And adding headcount isn't always the answer or possible. Today, Spencer's going to show you the AI SDR Vendasta built and runs internally, one that qualifies leads, books meetings, and follows up around the clock without a rep touching it. You'll see exactly where an AI SDR might fit in your existing sales motion, which tasks to automate first for the fastest return, and hear about what we do differently if we're building it again today. Before we wrap, we are going to be drawing one winner live on this call. That partner or prospect is going to walk away with a free AI SDR built in collaboration with Spencer one-on-one in the following days after the session. So I'm going to hand it over to Spencer. Let's get started.
Hello, everyone can hear me and see me online? Some thumbs up here. Just want to make sure. Great. Well, I'm going to be watching the chat here as well. I have it going on my screen. So I'd love to see where people are calling from or dialing in from here today as well. So make sure you put where you are. I'm out of Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. If I haven't met you before, I'm super pumped to show you what we built here at Vendasta using our own technology and then also partnering up with a company called Kixie to be able to actually use our dialing provider. But this is going to be a fun one today. I know there's tons of interest in this product. I'm going to go through this very in depth. So some of you seen a little bit of a high level. I'm going to cover that as well. But then I'm also going to go very technical as well to show you kind of the ins and outs of it and go through some of the things that we've learned. So just going into here is, my name's Spencer Krieger. I've been at Vendasta over years now. I've had multiple different hats here. But I've been the major part has been a part of our go-to-market team. So actually going and finding agencies like some of you that are on this call. And my team's been really focused on how can we be able to provide more solutions and grow these agencies that we work with. I just put my LinkedIn as well in the chat, so anyone can feel free to connect with me on there after the call and we can chat further about this. But why I'm here is how we built the AI SDR and how you can too as well, and some of the learnings along the way. But first, I want to do a poll time. So currently, I believe it should be all in here. Does your business currently have a dedicated SDR, BDR role? Love to see where this all comes through. So take a second here. It's kind of a mixed bag. 20% yes. 53% no, we don't have a formalized outbound function. Okay. So it's really kind of all across the board, mix of both. Good. I want to more see what the audience is today. So this really hits everyone then. So how we can be able to put it for someone that has an existing model, but also people that have maybe not have a formalized outbound function yet that is making outbound dialing calls. That's great. So what I'm going to cover is the pipeline problem. So basically top of funnel really stalls right now, what we've seen across with reps. Business owners are coming in all hours of the day. How are you able to follow up with leads instantly, call, have a conversation with them directly with them? What does our AI SDR actually do? So a lot of people maybe say, hey, it can do everything. That's not the case with a lot of these. I'm going to go really into detail what it actually does and where you'll end up, breaking along the way, but we want to make sure we follow the same structure as much as possible. And what we automate first. So what can we take some tasks off our reps to make them more efficient, make them more closer to the sale is where we want to put all of our reps. And I'm doing a playbook. So like what Rashida said at the top, so that we're going to do a playbook giveaway. I'm going to work with whoever wins it out of the draw. I think there's still people joining. We're at 69 now. I'm sure we're going to get over to 100, I'm sure, shortly. But you got to be on the call. So we're going to do it live. Rashida, I'll just give a quick shout out to her. So if you were part of Vendasta Vibe, she vibe coded everything that we're doing for the giveaway. So it's going to be pretty cool to see, and you can do that as well. And I want to make sure I leave a lot of time at the end for Q&A. So make sure you drop your questions and questions in there. I'll make sure to answer them near the end. All right. So the problem, 78% of deals really fall apart because of slow follow up. And that's really something that when we looked at building something, is like, hey, cadences were all over the place. How can I drive more consistency that it isn't manual based upon reps? And I'm sure all of you know this by now, but everything is built upon time to lead. So even when we had the full SDR motion, it was always about, can we contact leads in that first 2 minutes? And the best, I always heard, was the best feedback from a customer or prospect was when they say, I'm still on your webpage right now and you've already reached out to me. Like, that's some of the positive things. So that's really where we dial in and where we focus a lot of our metrics on. And the drop in connect rate after that first hour, if you don't reach out in that first hour, everyone goes, starts doing everything else. They start scrolling through other things as well. So it's just that time to detail is super vital to make all of this work. So that's really where we want to solve with building out our AI SDR. I talked about a little bit about this last week at a partner advisory council, but some of you might know who Mark Andreessen is. So he's a big venture capitalist. He's been on a ton of podcasts, but he said this in late 2025 is the winners won't be sales reps or devs, they'll be super individuals. And really what he means by that is that you're going to take on a bigger role in the future of this AI, basically function that you're building within your organization. That is, you're not going to be just single-handedly focused on sales. It might not be single-handedly focused on dev work. You're going to be able to cover a lot of those different areas and be able to fill that gap. So it's really interesting how, especially internally here, how like myself, for instance, took this to heart and like, how can we continue to build this? And a lot of other people in the organization are doing this as well. What is an AI SDR? So it's defined as a software agent that handles top of funnel outreach, follow up, and qualification 24 hours a day, 7 days a week without adding headcount. So how we've really done it is that we didn't want to replace like our reps. We want to just move them more closer to the sale. So we're able to move that function over to the account executive role, which has really helped us too. So where it fits into the motion, how we built it out is when a new lead arrives. So you can think from like a paid ad on Facebook or self sign up on our website. Those hit our form fill. AI SDR responds right away. It qualifies, nurtures, and books a meeting for the rep. And then the rep then works on bringing them on as a new channel partner. So that's really the flow. And I'm going to go into it very in depth now of how this all works. But first, how quickly does your team typically follow up on a new inbound lead? There should be a poll that's just coming out here. I would love to see where it all ends up. Same business day, 57%, within 5 minutes, 15, within the hour, 14. So about half of you are within that hour, not even, a little bit less. Depends, we're inconsistent. So same business day. I'd love to know, I won't be a part of this poll, but the people that are within the 5 minutes, what their connection rate is compared to the ones that are on the same business day. Like, we've done tons of studies on it, and everything within an hour, you should be okay, but within 5 minutes, you'll see that 3-4x. So that's what we're going to solve here on this call for all of you. So that's great. So who we built out? Sandra. She's my favorite employee. I'll be straight up. She doesn't talk back to me. She's really nice. Kind of does what I say. Sometimes she goes off the rails, but we dial her back in. But she's been a lot of fun. So, but we're learning a lot from her. She's been a ton of work to build out, but it's been amazing. I completely think it's been the right move for us. The problem is it takes a lot of time and setup and rigor and do it. But I also look at it as like any other employee that you bring on. There's training to get set up, to understand the business. And that's what we had to do with Sandra. And just a food for thought that if you didn't know this, that why the name Sandra, it has SDR in the name. So that's why we picked Sandra. So what she does is 4 primary jobs. First is database lookup. So if you sign up on the Vendasta website here today, we'll collect the first party data, we call it. That's the information that you sign up with. It'll have your first name, your company name, your email. So she already has that information. So you don't have to give it like how you typically would have to. Then what we do is we call. So we partner up with Kixie for that. That's our auto dialer. I believe we have Andrew on the call as well. So you can always set up a time with him. What they do is actually have the power dialing instance, so we can have local call presence if we're calling out of state. We can do with our caller ID, so it says Vendasta at the top. So we're always consistent with that, and everything's there. So yeah, I see Andrew in the channel there. So Andrew's here. I'm sure he'll love to take a few demos with you all. Next is if, let's say, we book the meeting, a text follows up with the Google Meet. Everything's all set up with a reminder. We get it all through email as well. So we have SMS and email that's always going to be nurturing throughout. And then lastly, the primary output is booking. Books the presentation or books the meeting and then shows up right in our account executives' calendars. So nothing they have to do on the front end, our reps. It's all getting run by Sandra in the back end. But 3 things really can happen on every outcome when we make the call. First, the one I hate the most is no answer. I want every call to get answered. And then if, let's say, we leave a voicemail. So Sandra leaves a voicemail, so it hits your inbox. Some of you probably experienced Sandra already. And then an SMS goes out automatically. So it'd be, hey, sorry we missed you. Thanks for signing up with Vendasta. And then she retries again another call in the next hour. So how we prompted her and set her up correctly. Next is they answered, but they didn't hit the outcome we wanted. So then we started SMS to start engaging. That's two-way conversation. So Sandra communicates back and forth with her primary goal of her SMS now to book a presentation. So not through the voice agent. And then lastly is booked. I wish everyone went through this. Not everyone does. But calendar invite sent, CRM updated, and account executive is notified. So everything then just flows directly through right into the sale or right into the platform demonstration of our service. So this was by the number. So this was month of May. So this was really our second full month of the launch. She made over 2,000 outbound calls. Every day she's working, night and day, no breaks, and she's done a really good job hitting that. So, and that's all through using our system, using all of our automations. Any lead that signs up would get contacted by Sandra. Here's the biggest thing, though, is what we learned. And we learned a lot, but I wanted to break it down to 3 main areas. The first one is, I think, is the most vital, which is where everything always breaks. The 30-day training period. It was funny. I was looking at a stat the other week that it's like 90 to 95% of people trying to develop new skills fail within those first week. So you can think of the New Year's resolutions and things like that. This is the exact same thing. You have to be completely bought in. It's like, hey, I'm going to build out this, or I'm going to build out AI workforce for those 30 days. Put it in the calendar, do whatever you need to do. But the people that I've seen, and I've talked to a lot of different businesses that have done it. I heard another one yesterday. And it's like, hey, it's not working. I ask them, did you have a 30-day training plan? No, they're just doing it kind of off the cuff and doing it when they can. It's not going to work. I'll tell you that right now. This is someone that's helped build all of this. But the 30-day period, so plan, full 30-day map. So if it's July 1, you want to roll this out, plan every single day, 30 minutes that you're going to continue working on this. Daily Q&A is mandatory. So Q&A with them. So you look at all the transcripts that it has, and you just plug it in and make sure that it's saying what you want. Sometimes especially like Sandra early on, she would go off the guardrails that we put up, but we've been very strategic on making sure that we're updating her daily, that she is, talking in the right language we want, making sure she's saying the right things about Vendasta and all of the services that we do provide. So that's huge in this. So those two really go hand in hand throughout that. We've had her now launched for 2.5 months, and I'm still doing daily Q&A with her. You just got to just make sure that the conversations are accurate of what we want. And then start with the outcome. A lot of people want to do multiple different things per agent. What the best thing is, dial in one. Her primary output is booking presentations. That's all I want her to do. And then filter out ones that maybe aren't a fit for us or direct them in the right direction. But her primary goal is book presentations. If I also want her to, let's say, make a sale, clean the dishes, do support tickets, it's not going to work. And that's where these agents define the role that you want, like an employee, and then work backwards from there. And then everything flows really well. So where our traditional side versus now is basically the SDRs who had a lead came in, SDR did an outreach, SDR qualification, handoff meeting, and then AE demo and negotiation, and then work through to being a new partner. So where we really saw as a gap was there was multiple handoffs, which I'm sure some of you've experienced in the past. And like, hey, I talked to this rep, I talked to another one, I talked to three more along the way. Slower response times and lost context between the reps. So that was really a problem we're trying to solve for. With Sandra now, lead comes in, they call SMS. We have a web chat on our website as well that engages. Qualified opportunity, AE demo, and negotiation. But there's zero human handoffs before AE now, instant response, and one owner human end to end. So it's just help streamline that process. Probably the best part about this, and especially with you all, is now you're starting to experience our AI right when you sign up with Vendasta. And you can be like, okay, how can I also use this for my business? But also yourself, if you're thinking about implementing it as well, your customers will be able to experience yours as well before they even talk to you or talk to anyone else. So that's where I really see the biggest benefit of it all. Whole time. What is the number one thing stopping your business from deploying an AI agent today? 100%? Let's go. Let's go. There's got to be, I can't see how many people have done it so far. I'll give another 30 seconds, but I love it if it's 100%. I'm curious how many people are going to make it through the 30-day gauntlet of setting it up, though. That's the biggest battle. Let's see who's going to do that. So it's worth it in the end. Don't know where to start. Budget, technical complexity, integration concerns. Okay, that's fair point. Which I'm going to send you all the guide to help get it set it up. Especially a lot of people with Kixie, they make it easy for us because we have native integration with them. And you can be able to do it through that. But if, let's say, if you have another auto dialer or phone system that you're using, we can send you basically an open doc of how you can be able to use it. 50% ready to move forward. Let's go. Inside our AI SDR. So what Sandra actually does, so instant lead response, which I've covered, lead qualification. So where we've done is ask discovery questions, scores against ICPs and segments, and then basically builds it based upon warm and cold. Like, so like, what are they saying? And then routes in that right direction. Next is book and meeting. I've already talked about that. Where how we built it, it's not just a one call. So call, SMS, another SMS, and then an hour, another call. So we have that. We also have a protection layer with one SDR right now. So we went from 13 SDRs last year to one as a protection layer, just to make sure that, like, hey, all the safety net of all the leads that have come through, that still get that touch. And then CRM logging. So everything's logged in our CRM. I'm a big believer if it's not in the CRM, it didn't happen. So all the conversations, everything gets logged and stored, and we can be able to come back to it and make it better. And then, of course, the 24/7 coverage is which is awesome. So around the clock, working hard for us in the front end. So how to get your AI SDR up and running? One, define ICP and rules. Who is your customer? Let's say if you're an agency that only deals with plumbers, understand that ICP rule very well. So then Sandra or your own chatbot can be able to have that full conversation, understands the plumbing business just as good as you or just as good as that customer. That's vital to make it work. Pick the automations that make the most sense. So inbound response, follow up. I'm going to send you the full checklist after this of how you can just easily do that. Connect your stack. So I know a lot of concerns on like, how do I actually integrate? How do I actually set it up? Like I said, with Kixie, it's a native integration with us. They flew out here about a year and a half ago, I believe, Andrew. And they help set up everything. So then it just works streamlined with our internal system. But if you have your own system as well, you can do it on your own too. Set up the handoff. So what does the handoff look like? And then launch and iterate. You got to spend time on it. If you're the biggest mistake thinking that it's plug and play and you're just gonna wipe your hands and everything's gonna flow through. I'm gonna tell you right now, there's gonna be work on along the way. But again, after those 30 days, you're gonna see a lot of progress and set it all up. I'm seeing a bunch of questions in here. I'm gonna make sure I get to those at the end. I want to make sure I answer, but just keep plugging questions in. Rashida's gonna do a good job for me to go through each one. So want to make sure I leave a lot of time for those. Are you interested in offering the AI SDR solution to your own customers? So I know for your own business, but also to your own customers. Love to see that poll as well. 50% split, but need to see it on my business first, 100%, which is exactly what we did as well. Got to see if it works for us to see if we can have it work for our partners and their customers as well. Good. Still 5% though. Not sure yet. I haven't sold you on this. Come on. 8% now. I guess there's still some time left here. Maybe I'll answer some of these Q&As. So, okay, let's do it. So we're gonna do a live demo. We'll see if my phone holds up here. I think about 1 bar of service. Oh, we're sitting at 2 right now. So I have Praveen, who's helped me build all of this out here on the call here, and he's gonna call me. So it's like I signed up for a lead or signed up on Vendasta website, and we're gonna try it out. So Praveen, yeah, fire it off. So you can see, I don't know if you can see it. Oops. So it says Vendasta on there. The number it's calling from. Hello?
Hey, Spencer. This is Sandra from Vendasta.
Hey, Sandra, how's it going?
Glad to hear your voice. I saw you just signed up for the Vendasta platform. Tell me a bit about your business. What do you do?
I'm a marketing company out of Gainesville, Florida. Go Gators. And what do you want to know?
One quick thing so I set you up right. Roughly how many clients are you working with at the moment?
Well, right now we're just only with 30.
Nice. Solid book of business. So what caught your eye about Vendasta? Are you looking to add services, streamline what you've got, or something else?
To be honest, I have no idea what the hell you guys do. I saw something about AI workforce or something like that. What is that?
Totally fair. Vendasta is involved with agencies with tools like AI employees that handle tasks like answering phones, managing reviews, and generating leads. Does that sound like something that could help streamline your client services?
Yeah, probably could. I'd probably have to dig into it a little bit more though.
That's exactly what the demo covers, so you can see how it fits your agency. Would you be open to a free 30-minute walkthrough with our product expert?
I'll take it easy on you today, Sandra. Sure, we'll do that.
Love it. I've got Krieger.spencer@gmail.com on file. Still the best place for the invite?
Sure, that'd be great.
What's the name of your company?
Spencer's Marketing.
Thanks. Are you more of a morning person or do afternoons work better for that walkthrough?
Let's do morning.
Great. And what time zone are you in so we get the timing right?
I'm in Eastern time.
Got it. I'll get that 30-minute demo booked and send the invite over. Welcome to Vendasta, Spencer. Anything else I can help with today?
That's everything. Thank you. So there's just a quick snap of how it looks and how the whole workflow goes. But like you saw right at the start, thanks for doing that. So it calls me first. So you can see it had Vendasta right on there. That would have been within the first 2 minutes of me signing up. Engages in the conversation and has flow through. I saw someone comment about the lag time and things like that. That's through real time 1.5 is what I'm using today. But I don't know if I'm supposed to announce this, but real time 2.0 is coming out here, I think in the next week or so. I'm super pumped for it. I've been trialing it out already. So everyone else can be able to jump into that. So it helps reduce a lot of that lag. But it works great. And what you're going to see now, I'm kind of waiting for my text message to come through, but it's going to have, the whole meeting details, the calendar link of when the meeting's for, and everything goes logged in. So then they get a text message, you're going to get the email, and all flows through. One of the things that I should also mention there, if you probably heard, knew my name right at the start, knew my email as well. I didn't have my company. I didn't put my company name in. So that's why she wanted to clarify that. But it had all that information. So you don't have to go Krieger.Spencer, go back and forth until we actually get that. So it was really like streamlined. So just little things like that, we wanted to make sure we tweak that it is a good customer experience. Great. Let's keep it rolling. And then I'm going to get to Q&A because I know it's already almost 1:30 here. So technical setup. So what do you actually do? Vendasta setup, you create an AI employee and so you add the voice employee, add the core capabilities, and upload your knowledge sources for calls. So you're probably wondering, well, what are the capabilities? I'll show you a little bit more in depth here in a second. Next is calling software setup. So we make an API call and build a send webhook through the Vendasta automations. Real simple. It sounds complicated if you're not technical. It's actually a lot easier than you think. And then you configure call forwarding. So it's actually just calling the inbound call agent that you already have set up. It's all the way through. And then post-call automation so we can actually have, trigger the confirmation and everything through there. So it's all right here, ready to go. Before I get into the Q&A, so I just want to show you this. So I'm going to rate the slide here. So my prompting that I've created, it's I think about 6,000 words of text. It's a beast. There's a lot of information of how we route, but we're always, like, I tweaked it again this morning just a little bit. So it's just making tweaks now. We're not making wholesale changes, like what guardrails to go through. I won't go in depth in any of this because I know it looks like looking at like a full Harry Potter book here, but it's like a lot of information all in one place, but like real easy to break it down. What are the things we want her to say that she make sure that she hits home on? So that's in there. We're going to send you this at the end, the outbound calling. How do you actually set up? So when you go through, what capabilities? CRM contact lookup, voice additional instructions, the book appointments tied to your calendar, add the knowledge bases. If you're using Kixie, we made everything based upon Kixie, but I'm sure if your own provider has this information, you can do it all right from here and actually what goes through. So shout out to my man Praveen for setting all that up. And everything then will be sent out to you after this call. So it's really exciting stuff. I'm pumped. I hope you all are, because this is a game changer for your business. Let's cue the Q&A. Grill me on whatever you want. Is this primary function of Sandra based on inbound leads? Yes. The current one that we built on right now is based upon inbound leads. We're looking at using like old database of leads next here. Now the next like version 2. And then we'll maybe look at outbound. I am hesitant a little bit on that full on like cold outbound lead calling right now, just because I haven't seen the full adoption of, outbound customers trialing it out that are cold and be able to see it. We'll probably do a small sample size probably in Q3 on cold. But right now it's based upon warm intent leads. Great question. Identified by the SDR. So late to the meeting, my biggest question is how the prospect is identified by an SDR as a prospect. So what we do is when the lead comes in, we actually grade it, and then we can actually be able to see, is it a fit for our business? So if, let's say, I'll just use an easy example. So if it's an agency that sells to local businesses, great, that's a customer we want. What she's going to ask, which you probably heard, how many customers do they have today? So then that's where we actually base it upon our triage of where do the accounts go. So if it's, let's say, they have 500 customers, it'll go to one of our team members. If it's 50 customers, it's going to go to one of our team members. So everything's based upon that. And that's how we route everything internally here today. What does the handoff look like from the voice receptionist to the SDR? I want to just clarify. So what happens here, Brian, is when the handoff happens, so when the voice agent calls it, it was just maybe that was before the demo. I think you probably understand it now. But basically, it goes right to her. She knows all the information inside and out of what they signed up for on the first party data, and then she'll collect more to give to the account executive. I hope that answers your question, but I think I've covered that after probably the demo. Are there workflows available already for this we can use? So the automation sequence, no, it's going to be tied to that setup guide that you can just plug in. Some of the capabilities, though, are already set up, ready to go for you. So like the voice, we're going to send that all out for you after the call, that you can just go plug in the automation. So let's say if you're running a webhook, like that's where it's like working with Kixie on that, just to make sure it's all set up properly how you need. But all the automation sequences are within the portal that you can be able to use. Realistic to think that 30 days would reduce as more and more SDRs are built for clients using the 80/20 rule. As I imagined, some training would apply to more than one SDR. Yeah. I just want to make sure I understand. Realistic to think 30 days reduces more and more built for clients. Yeah. So how I look at it is when you're doing all of this out, you want to make sure, and this is one of the mistakes we made, was like you want to have that protection layer when you're doing all this. Because if you're just going to go, hey, we're going this way and we don't have that protection, that's usually where the mistakes happen. But that 30-day rule is like, if you're not going to do the 30-day, it's not going to work out for you. I'll tell you that right now. If someone just goes and it makes in 30 days, well, great. But you're going to run into a lot of issues along the way, and then you're going to be doing more post-mortem and trying to cancel and like just shut it down. But you've got to dedicate those 30 days. And I hope that answers your question. I know that was, I just want to make sure. If not, Jim, message me after. I want to make sure I answer that properly for you. Our clients are asking for this. Should we start with our own first? 100%. And like you got to understand it at a good detail for you to be able to also pitch it and sell it. Same thing as all of our AI voice products and our chat receptionists on your website. Like you have to have it internally and then believe in it and then take it. Uh, One of the things that like even just building this out that we saw, and like I could have probably built this out about a year ago, but you need to have the buy-in from the people that are involved from it. And there's a lot of people that never had the full buy-in yet. So that was the mistake I used on it, that I just didn't own it. So if you're building this out, make sure you have the people that are bought into this vision of what you're doing while you're actually implementing it. Because if you don't, it's going to go slow. There's going to be a lot of people that are, I would say, naysayers against it. And it's going to just slow you down and cause more of a distraction. Do we have voice options? Ryan, I believe you're asking about like, is it like real time? Like, which ones are you using? DeepGram, other ones like that? Is that correct? You can just give a thumbs up. If not, I believe so. So I'm going to take that as what it is. Yes, there's multiple different options available. Like I said before, I kind of gave you a little bit of a sneak peek that Real-Time 2.0 is coming out here very soon. And I'm pumped. I'm going to move it all over to there. It's going to probably increase everything by 15 to 20% of especially lag, speed, understanding the customer. It's going to be awesome. I'm super pumped. Good. I'm glad I answered that one. Is there a way to decrease the lag? Also, I just want to, before I answer this question, I hate not hearing you all saying the questions. I'm reading it. So you're probably all looking at me like this guy barely can read. So I wish it was more of an interactive. Is there a way to decrease the lag the end user experiences after they speak and before the AI agent responds? There is a way that you can actually like filter it all through that. But I believe that with 2.0, you won't even have to do that. So it's going to be pretty standard and you're going to be really happy with it. And by the time that you'll have this all rolled out, 2.0 will be here. A lot of great questions today, first of all. Is the SDR a workflow or how does that differ from the conversations AI? So the biggest thing is that it's calling outbound instead of waiting for inbound leads. So it's actually calling the leads outbound, engaging with them. That's kind of really the biggest difference in having a conversation to book in. Conversations AI today is based upon getting inbound leads. So it's like if you don't call the number, well, then it's not doing anything. So it's more being proactive and reaching out. Does the call come from the same number already associated with our conversations AI? Yes, it does. So that's where it, pardon me, does the call come from? No. If you're using Kixie, it'll give you a number that you can be able to use. So what it does is call forwards there. So the customer or the end prospect that you're setting up for wouldn't see that number. So the number that we are using is the Kixie number that is given. So that's where, like how you saw when it called me, it was a 306 number, which is like a Saskatchewan-based phone number line. If let's say if I called someone in Florida or somewhere else, it'd be a Florida-based phone number that we have connected with Kixie. So it's more based upon their local call presence. I'm sure if you've got reached out to my team in the past year and a half, you probably don't even remember this, but you probably saw a number that was in your local state. So you probably had a higher likelihood of getting picked up on. we did that because it increased our connection rates by about 15% by just making a small little tweak like that. Is Kixie built into our account? Where do we learn about it? I'm going to let Andrew put his link in there. So it's all there. He's already in front of it. So he's already ahead of the curve for that for me. So you have access. Feel free to book a time with him. There is a native integration, like I said at the top, so you can easily connect directly through there. Are you doing this just on form submissions or chats too? Chats as well. So right when, let's say if a chat comes in, creates a new lead for us, we still call it. But the goal also with the chat is to still book a demo. So it's actually doing the same role as Sandra, doing that because we have our calendar tied to it as well. But let's say if they just sign up, lead, they don't book in, they'll go through that workflow the same way. But yes, we use it all functions. We look at our entire funnel, how we can kind of come to booking a presentation. But if there's fall off, then it goes to that Sandra route. Can you set up funnels for separate customers, plumbers, HVAC, and have Sandra call specifically for the industry as a specialist? Great question, Jason. No. The reason for it is the voice product right now is only on one location, or pardon me, one business. So like Sandra is basically just doing more generic. If you want it more focused in one different area, what you could do today, if you wanted to, is have basically under business accounts, you could add in conversations AI premium and create different ones for each persona. So there is a hacky way you could do it. I wouldn't recommend it right now. But what is soon coming out from product is that there's going to be multiple different voice agents under your like partner center account. So then that would solve your what you're looking for, because that's exactly what we want to do. Sandra's talk track for inbound is going to be a hell lot different than one for an outbound, like calling like a cold outbound. That's calling a re-engaging lead. That's calling, and that's where the different personas I want to have of Sandra, and probably 3 months from now, and that will solve your use case there. But that's a great question. I'm glad someone brought that up. Maybe I already missed this, but are we building this out as a custom agent or a pre-established Vendasta agent? Vic, great to see you. Fun fact, I brought Vic on about 6 years ago, so good to see him here. I would use a pre-established. So I'd use our voice receptionist. So that's how we built it out today is through our voice receptionist. Custom employees today don't have the voice capability, so that's why you couldn't use voice if you want to use the calling out. So you have to use a voice agent. If our customer wants us to set this up for them, what would be a good price or pricing structure? That's a great question. And that's why we're really still in those initial stages. I'll look at the usage and cost per minute. How we're building everything out is more the usage based. So what I would do is look at what your cost is, your usage cost, and then put in the margin that you have like a 60, 70% margin on the minutes. So how I've looked at it right now is like, let's say if someone's making, 1,000 minutes of calls per month, take that, let's say it's a 25 cents or let's say 50 cents, however much you want to charge for that. And then that make it more minutes based is how I would monetize it. But right now, I would say it's still early stages on how you monetize it. But I would definitely look at it more minutes based instead of just like a monthly charge. Just what they'll do is first, it's going to protect you as well, because when we're charging for usage as well, if you just do a flat rate, you might get kind of caught a little bit. So it's like, hey, we can guarantee that it's going to cover, 400 minutes, everything above that. So I'd make sure you're looking at how many calls they're getting currently. Good question, Jill.
Awesome. We have a couple, sorry, we're getting some echo. We have a couple more questions left, but I think Spencer's going to pop up the QR code on the screen for you all to scan to get your names into the draw for that free AI SDR built-in collaboration with Spencer. So take out your phones, give it a scan. Maybe Spencer wants to make it a little bit bigger on our screens for us. And then we'll pull the winner after we finish up our questions. Awesome. Give me some thumbs up. We should actually see some names pop in as people start to enter. So awesome. Thanks, guys.
Scan the code. There we go. Now we're seeing some names roll through. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to work on this with an agency here, any business that goes through here. So, whoops, oh, I got to scroll down again. Like I said, shout out to Rashida. She vibe coded this with Vendasta Vibe here this week. So I said I want to do it live. No one will believe me if I take it offline and just pick a name. I'll give it another about 30 seconds here. Oh, while we're waiting here, Brett asked a question. Could we provide a list and how the process ran? Have 100 leads that I want to prospect to that have somehow opted in the past? Yeah, of course. That's what I'm going to send out after here, Brett. It's like a full detail of everyone that's signed up for the webinar. Uh, essentially, how to get it set up, what's the workflow, and then anything else. And then feel free. Like I said, I dropped my LinkedIn. Maybe I should drop it again in here. It's usually the easiest way to get a hold of me is because sometimes my emails get a little buried and I can help walk you through some of this as well. So I know I have you, of course, Brett. So, but anyone else? Is that it? We got all the names in? Spin the wheel. Couple more questions. Okay, here, we'll give it a little bit, build up the suspense a little bit more. Is there a different product that has the other setup, or is it part of the Conversations AI? I'm confused on the tech stack for this. No, it's the voice Conversations AI, so voice receptionist. That's the product. That's the one we're using your own employees through there. Hope that's clear now for you, Ryan. Is it possible for the SDR agent to pull context from the inbound form filled chat to already have knowledge about what the lead is looking for? Of course, yeah. So like that's how we're pulling everything in is through the custom fields. So everything is all on that side. So if you have more context, make sure it's in there, and then it can do the CRM lookup. Last question. What is our cost? Same as your voice agent. So your voice receptionist that's tied to your account in Partner Center, it's just using that one. So it's just plugging that one in and having call forwarding built within that. There we go. Spin the wheel. Here we go. Spinning. There we go. Double click it. Josh, congratulations. Sorry to everyone else other than Josh. But congratulations, Josh. So that was great. I'm pumped about all this. Feel free to message me if you have any more questions on any of this. Gladly talk about it. Gladly talk about even further some of the other issues we ran through. Congrats, Josh. Rashida's going to connect us, get a meeting set up. We'll get all this rolling. You see, we did the live wheel. I didn't want to do one offline. Like I said, no one would believe me. So I want to do one live, and I'm glad we did it all. So up next week, June 16th, product configuration. Build AI workforce packages that sell themselves. That's going to be a great one. Make sure you sign up. These are weekly webinars. They're great. Continue to learn, continue to build, and look forward to working with you all. See you later.